Okay, let me just fill you in real quick. So, me and Miles recorded a minisode about like 20 minutes ago. I hop off, turn my phone off, do not disturb because I had it on there because I didn't want any notifications going off during the recording session and the mic picking it up. And the first thing I see when I turn it off, do not disturb, is that Trae Young got traded to the freaking Wizards. I mean, you just can't make this up, dude. Like, this is so stupid. Well, I would ask you guys how you're doing today, but I think I already know your answer being that I reposted today, so I won't. Instead, I'll just go ahead and breaking down this trade for you guys. So, according to Sham Sharana, NBA insider for ESPN, the Atlanta Hawks are trading Trae Young, a All NBA All Star, to the Washington Wizards in exchange for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. Now, immediately when I look at this trade, you have CJ McCollum on an expiring deal and Corey Kispert, a guy that they just signed to an extension, the Wizards did, and who's a great role player off the bench for the Hawks coming up this year. And for the Wizards, they're getting a great guy to help anchor their talent, a guy that they have not been able to get for the last couple years. They tried it with Westbrook, it didn't work. They tried it with Kyle Kuzma and Jordan Poole, that didn't work. And then they tried it with Chris Milton, and that hasn't worked so far. Then they tried again with CJ McCollum this year, and it still hasn't worked. So now they're bringing in Trae Young, a guy that is by far and away better than anybody that the Wizards have tried to bring in to help in any way anchor their talent of Alex Sarr and Trey Johnson, AJ Johnson, a prospect that I really like in the NBA, a guy they picked up in the Kyle Kuzma trade. And then you got Chris Milton, a good veteran that you just have sitting there. So, yeah, I really love Chris Milton, don't get me wrong. But all in all, this trade, in my just like first glance, it looks really good for both sides. I was a little surprised to not see really any pick swaps go through. Again, this trade just literally went down like 5 minutes ago at this point, so maybe we'll get more details pretty soon. But yeah, a little in surprised to see that no picks were exchanged, but at the same time, Trae Young is getting paid a hefty sum of money. So is CJ McCollum, and I'm pretty sure CJ McCollum's getting about 30 million a year. Trae Young's got about 90-ish million left on his deal that runs through the 26-27 season. So I think that's about what, like 50 million a year, and then you're adding Corey Kispert in there as well, who just signed a pretty big extension. So salary wise, this is pretty similar, and the Hawks at this point weren't going to be asking for a whole lot for Trae Young. I mean, the Hawks were 2-10 in the games that Trae Young has played. It hasn't been good for him, and being that he also had to deal with a MCL sprain in his knee that kept him out for a good period of time, and the Hawks are actually winning. Yeah, this just signaled the end of the time of Trae Young in Atlanta, which I don't think there's really any bad blood between the two. I think there was more so of a mutual decision. I mean, Trae Young probably wasn't very satisfied with the team, and the Hawks were realizing that, oh, we can win without Trae Young, and he's in fact making us lose. Yeah, we probably can get rid of him. So I don't think there's really any bad blood between there, which is, in my opinion, something that I would like to see more of in the NBA. I hate to see bridges being burned in any sport, no matter. So either way, I feel like that's a somewhat better note for me to look at this trade. And then look for the Hawks as well. This also frees up a good amount of money as well heading into next season. They didn't have to give up Zachary Richachet as well. Well, actually, they still might give up Zachary Richachet. And the reason they gave up Trae Young is to potentially free up some cap space for this summer to spend some money or to potentially go out and get Anthony Davis and give up a bunch of picks for Anthony Davis potentially at the trade deadline. So that is a move that could be coming very, very soon. Or who knows, maybe the Hawks are going to go out and get Giannis. You never know. And maybe Zachary Richachet is going to be in that trade as well. So there's a lot of moves that the Hawks can do now that Trae Young is out of town. And for the Wizards, getting rid of CJ McCollum, who's on an expiring deal, also frees up about $30 million in cap space as well. So the Wizards are free to go spend some money in the offseason as well, too. And again, you have Trae Young that can help anchor that team for a couple years, get them on the right track with, of course, Alex Sarr, who was the number 2 overall pick a couple years ago in the same class as Zachary Richachet as well. They got Trey Johnson, who's actually looking pretty good. By El Billy, I believe I'm saying his name right. That's a weird name, so I don't know if I'm saying it right. He's a guard for that team as well. So you got him, Trae Young, and Trey Johnson as well. 2 Treys as guards. AJ Johnson's also there as well, former first round pick who performed really well last season. And then you got Alex Sarr there as well. So overall, that team is looking good for the future, at least for the next 2 years. Yeah, so this is a good trade overall, in my opinion. I'm happy to see that this trade go through. I was not expecting it to go through on January 7th, a Wednesday night like this. I was expecting this would be maybe dragged out a little bit longer, but Trae Young did say today that he would prefer to go to the Wizards, and lo and behold, he's traded to the Wizards. So I'm not going to go in full detail today. I'm going to save that for the full episode. Me and Miles are going to talk about it then. I know he has some opinions on it. But regardless, I like this trade just off the rip. Once I look at the underlying details, I'll potentially look at it a little bit further and see if I truly like it or if I'm not as liking it as much as I am right now. But we'll have to wait and see how that turns out then, at least. So thank you all for listening to this bonus episode, this instant reaction episode of Talking Sports with me, Andrew Volkman. And I will see you in the next episode of Talking Sports with Miles and Andrew, which will be coming up very, very soon this weekend. So check us out on YouTube. Check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Check out my NASCAR show on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. The links will be in the description down below. And I'll see you in the next episode, everybody. Take care. So stupid, dude.